We are gathered here to discuss the draft UGC regulations 2025. As you all know, these regulations infringe upon the powers of the states in legislating higher education and thus undermines the federal foundations of our country. It is in this context that this national convention assumes significance. I am glad that we have representatives from various states here with us to join hands in this effort of protecting the basic tenets of our Constitution. Let me place on record our appreciation to the ministers from Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, and the officials from Jharkhand and Telangana who are present with us here today, representing their respective state governments. At the outset, let me extend a warm welcome to each one of you and underline the fact that the onus lies on us in attempting to redefine the role and function of the UGC vis-a-vis its regulatory power and reaffirming the role of states that establish and maintain state universities. State universities operate according to laws passed by the respective state legislatures. Under item 32 of the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution, the establishment and supervision of universities are under the jurisdiction of the states. The union government's authority is limited to coordinating and setting standards for higher education, research institutions under item 66 of the union list. It is on the basis of this that the UGC issues regulations under the UGC Act. However, in his speech responding to the debate in the Constituent Assembly on August 31st, 1949, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had clearly defined the scope and limits of item 66 in the union list. He said that if the pass marks or criteria for degree examinations conducted by various universities in India were to differ significantly, it would cause considerable difficulty. He further stated that the inclusion of such an item in the union list was only to avoid such uncoordinated systems and to ensure uniform standards and methods across states. We need to be mindful of these words when engaging in the framing of laws and rules pertaining to higher education. Despite the words of the chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution, according to the 42nd Amendment to the Constitution that came into effect on the 3rd of January 1977, education, including higher education, was moved from the state list to the concurrent list as item 25. And now the fact that it is in the concurrent list being used to not merely diminish the role of state governments in administering higher education, but to effectively sideline them as a whole, posing great challenges to our diverse systems of education prevailing in the states. The strengthening of such systems are essential for the preservation of our cultural and linguistic diversities. As soon as the draft UGC regulations 2025 became public, the anti-federal and anti-democratic content, which would have ruinous effects on the entire country's higher education sector, was evident. Therefore, the Kerala Legislative Assembly unanimously passed a resolution urging the Union government to withdraw them. We also called upon the Union government to engage in detailed discussions with all stakeholders, taking their opinion seriously before issuing new guidelines. Furthermore, we have appointed a 5-member committee under the stewardship of Professor Prabhat Patnaik to formulate our views on these new regulations and respond to the UGC. Professor Patnaik is here with us today and will be making a detailed presentations on the draft regulations. Therefore, let me not go into them at length, but just make mention at a few of the most glaring issues on it.